Our robot, Delta 1, for the 2019 season Destination D-Space was designed as a ramp bot to deploy a ramp at the last 30 seconds of the match and allow our Alliance robots to climb the HAB Level 3, scoring an additional 12 points.
What software, programming language, and library was used for programming, and describe your experience with them?
So we use the Java programming language, and as well we also use the given WPI libraries that FIRST offers.
So at first for the WPI library, it was a bit difficult to learn how to use it because one thing is knowing how to program and another thing is knowing how to use the library. We had to learn all the built-in functions, how the setup of a robot code is, and it was a learning process, trial and error, but eventually we got it.
What worked well for this project for the project team?
So one of the things that really worked well was the commitment of each member. So each member had a role in our team, and what I felt like throughout the competition, each member, had something different to provide for the team. So one team member could have really good at programming, mechanical, media. We have all various amount of skills, and what I believe that is the commitment to use those skills for the team is one of the things that was really good for the whole season.
What didn't work well for this project or for the team?
I think what didn't work well was the timing. We didn't really think that time was going to fly by so fast. And by the time we knew it, we were like only a couple of weeks from being in the competition, and we didn't realize that. What didn't work well for this project or the project team?
As a first year team, there was a lot of obstacles that we had to face. For example, organization, club funding, materials, and generally a lack of experience with the whole entire FIRST Robotics season. So at the beginning, we wanted to do FIRST Robotics competition, but we actually didn't know what was there to expect. And within build season, we basically had to learn on our own as we went along. But all that trial and error really propelled us to where we are because we had to do it on the spot, and so we had to be adaptable and flexible.
What should be done over or differently?
Communication skills, I think. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
our communication
definitely.
skills. Because we had different sub-teams, but we didn't agree on a certain thing. So by the time we agreed, it was like late into the competition, so we didn't get everything done. What surprises did the team handle during the project?
What really surprised us was how we were able to have one mistake and able to kind of fix it last minute, but take one obstacle and be able to overcome it in a short amount of time, especially as a rookie team.
What surprises did the team handle during the project?
I think good surprises were that we were able to overcome what we thought we couldn't do. Like first couple weeks in, when we powered the robo reel, we were all like really excited, like yeah, it's gonna work, it's gonna run, like we can actually do it.
What project events were not anticipated?
We built a ramp bot, which basically allowed Alliance robots to climb the HAB level, right? What we didn't anticipate was that during the competition, we tried to try out multiple times. At the end, it didn't really work, and that was one of the really big surprises for me.
It was also, replacing the ramp when we finally had a design that we said was going to work. Replacing that for something that we thought would work, and then replacing again the mechanism that the ramp was using. That was all very unexpected.
I think for sure it was the time in between the matches where we were rebuilding the robot. I did not expect us like every other round to like have the robot come back to us like destroyed and then have us rebuild it again.
For queuing time.
Yeah.
We didn't expect either, but that some teams didn't want to go up to HAB level 3. We're like,
Introduce yourself and describe your unique experience as seniors on a rookie team.
My name is Johnny, and I was one of the lead programmers, and as well I was also a human player and one of the technicians.
So my name is Jeremy Quintero, and I was part of the mechanic sub-team, and I was the main mechanic, I'd say, for the duration of the season.
My name is Yasser Corso, and I worked as a programmer.
My name is Fernando Morales, and I was captain of CAD team.
Prior to joining the robotics club, I already knew programming, and that helped me a lot during the build season. I already knew Java, like working with libraries, I already knew most of that. And it was really fun because I never got a chance to apply those skills in real life, and programming, and the robotics club helped me and first helped me program and apply those skills into something valuable.
I'd say as when I first joined that it was kind of daunting immediately because I didn't have any prior experience being a mechanic or using tools much, but I was really eager to learn. So as soon as I got there, I just went there and I was like, okay, let me try to do my best and try to learn as quickly as I can. And I think I did a really good job because once I got comfortable using the tools, I was able to really put all my time and effort into being there as much as I can and to build as much as I can. And over time, it got easier, obviously. I was able to get more comfortable with the use of tools. And I feel that, and then at that point, also working in the pit crew, I also learned how to work under pressure. And I think that's a good thing I learned from this year as a senior in this team. And I think it's really interesting because joining without prior experience and then having to really work really hard for the team, being a mechanic, so I had to kind of try to really do as much as I can, even though I had no prior experience for this. But it was really good experience for me.
Before joining this team, I knew nothing about coding programming, but I did have some help like Johnny here, who taught me more about Java and how to code and stuff.
Prior to the first experience, I had never worked on any type of CAD software before. When I first got it, it was really interesting. I tried learning everything I could as quickly as I could. Learning CAD was definitely a good step for me, especially since I want to go into civil engineering. No matter what part you get into an FRC team, as long as you're interested somewhat in STEM, you'll definitely take something away.
Describe your role and your experience on the drive team.
During the competition, I was the drive coach, which means that I'm always responsible for the strategy before each match. My role was to go to my alliance members and to talk about what were the robots function with regard to us, plan ahead before the match starts.
My role was technician, so before the match started, I had to make sure everything was in order. I would lift a robot and make sure that everything was connected, our robo-reel was working properly, the radio was communicating with our drive team, so that we can have a match without any problems.
I was the robot driver, which means that I was controlling the robot.
So I was the human player, and my job consisted of loading the hatch panels in the loading station. Also, as a human player, I also assisted the driver in helping her with strategies.
What advice would you give a rookie team next year?
One advice that really helped us out was to train. You need to practice a lot because you don't have that much time to build a robot, so you need to try to get it done as quickly and as efficiently as possible, so you have time to practice with it and get to know the feel of your robot, the field and everything. And if you can find other teams that have a practice field or something, that could be really useful. And I think also something that really helped us out, that they told us, is that to focus on one thing and to do it really well. Because when you try to do a whole bunch of things, it could really fall apart.
One thing that we should have done is that we should have a more consistent drive team. Throughout the competition, we fluctuated with members into the drive team. And what we should have done was that we should have a permanent drive team before the competition starts, so that everybody knows the role better.
What surprises did the team encounter during the competition?
There were many instances where we would go in with a plan, we'd say, okay, this is what we're going to strategize with, this is what we're going to tell the other team. But then it would turn out that that's not what the team needed or what they wanted, so we'd have to completely change our strategy, and it would kind of throw us off a bit, but it's part of the competition.
What lasting impact have you made or will make for the future of the team?
I'd say definitely I'm gonna come back and try to mentor the team, and once I'm settled in college, basically try to come back and help you guys in any way I can, because I felt it did bring a certain amount of energy, a lot of good work ethic, I'd say, for the team. So I'd say if maybe there's a lull in the team and you guys are not sure what to do, then maybe we could try to motivate you, when we all come back, or you try to get started with something, because any movement for the team is good. As long as you're moving forward with some part of the robot, it's good. So I'd say that's probably what we bring back, and any prior experience, because it's pretty good with programming, probably help with them, and also morale, I'd say, that's what we bring back.
Yeah, I'm also coming back next year. I'll be helping with programming, since I know most people in programming were seniors, and I'll be back to help the juniors who will be seniors in programming.
What advices would you give to a rookie team next year?
Well, I would say start really fast. I would say as soon as you start the club or whatever you're doing, just start fundraising as soon as possible, because you don't think that the money that you're making at that time is going to be helpful, but once it gets to later on, you're going to see that money came in handy, because when it came to getting last minute tools that we needed, the money that we saved up from all that beverages is what came in handy.
In addition, if also something goes wrong during the build season, if something breaks, or like she said, you need new tools or something, it'll come in handy to have that fundraising money. So start as soon as possible and make as much as you can. Really do not hold off or hold back. Try to make as much as you can, because it really will come in handy.
And it's also, I think it's important to let the community know about your club. I think sometimes we don't know where that money can come from. So if it means going door to door and knocking on businesses and local things that you know about and letting them know, hey, this is our mission and we could use some help, I think that's also very important.
The one advice is that you should always look towards another team that already are successful or really up there. Because in order to win, you have to emulate the behavior of the team that is really doing well. Building connections with other teams is really important, especially as a rookie team. It's like, being thrown into an ocean without lifeguard. You need another team who's already localized around your district to help guide you guys forward. That's what I believe rookie teams should have.
Finding out more about what electronics does or what mechanics does or like what programming does is like harder. So I think it'd probably be best for rookie teams to like expose themselves more to like what other teams are doing and what they can do instead of like capturing themselves in their own little bubble. Like, what can I do even if I don't know it?
And I think it was really important for us to make those relationships with other teams. Even though it was our first year, I think that adding ourselves to the culture of like the first competitions and becoming acquainted with other people and other kids that also are interested in what we're doing is one of the most important things you can do with it.
Here's a bonus question that I have for you, ladies. How do you feel about being a woman being first?
So we were like too shy. There's the three of us, Jada, Stephanie, and I. We were like too shy to say anything. But once we got over there, we saw so many girls, and we were actually surprised. Because at first I saw only guys, and we were like, oh, so we're like the only girls. Eventually we saw more girls, and it was like, oh, so it's not only us being here, and then we're really good as well.
Yeah, and it feels really good to have the opportunity to do something in the STEM field. Like, even though you're a female, it's not very popular for females to do this, but it's good that they were like welcoming us to the group. Like, they didn't say, oh, like we don't want you here. So that was like very like heartwarming that they invited us. They tried to teach us like different things, like in different sub teams about like, oh, well, this is how you do that. Like, this is how the robot works and stuff like that. So that was nice.
I think it was also a very important lesson on how to not let people push you around because you are a girl. Because even though it is a welcoming environment, sometimes you just have to try a bit harder to kind of establish your place among others. And I think that's really important to do.
I will be pleased to thank our sponsors.
Thank you.
Argosy Foundation.
Argosy Foundation.
Argosy Foundation.
Altice USA.
Altice USA.
And the Elizabeth Board of Education.
And the Elizabeth Board of Education.
And the Elizabeth Board of Education have been very supportive for us throughout the season.
Thank you.